The original Air Max 270, now known as the Air Max 93, pushed the boundaries of visible air cushioning and helped set the stage for many future shoes. In 2018, the OG Menthol colorway returned to retailers. Let's take a look. Hey all, what is up? Reese here, and I've got a brand new sneaker pickup to show you. What we're looking at today is the Nike Air Max 93 in the original Menthol or Dusty Cactus colorway. The colors listed on the box are white, sport turquoise, and black, and these returned on February 2nd, 2018 with a retail price of $130. Now as you're watching this video, I'd love for you to leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about this shoe. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Air Max 93 and also how these stack up for you against some of the other original Air Max sneakers we're seeing return as part of the celebration leading up to Air Max Day 2018. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. And finally, if you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with all of my latest videos. The Air Max 93 is a sneaker that doesn't get quite as much love as most of its other siblings from the early days of Air Max, but it's one that I really enjoy, both in terms of how it looks and also kind of what it means for what was at the time the future of that visible air cushioning. On top of that, it's a shoe that was released in 1993, which is the year I was born, so that's just another reason why I really enjoyed this silhouette. This shoe came after the Air Max 180 and was actually originally introduced as the Air Max 270. Obviously, over time, we've started to call this the Air Max 93, and Nike actually repurposed that Air Max 270 name for a brand new silhouette that is a lifestyle-specific Air Max shoe featuring the tallest Air Max unit we've ever seen on a shoe. Other than that, though, the principle of the bag design is pretty similar, where you've got that wrap around the heel that gives you 270 degrees of view of that airbag, which is where the name actually comes from. Now, this was a pretty big evolution at the time for air units. Originally on the Air Max 1, which was the first visible air unit, we had just those little windows into it. With the Air Max 90, they had a pretty similar design, but they were actually able to increase the size of the air unit. And then they were able to do that again with the Air Max 180, and they were also able to increase it pretty dramatically for the 180, extending it all the way down to the outsole as well as kind of widening it, making it more visible and providing more cushioning. Now with this, obviously you had a pretty radical departure in terms of the design with that whole wraparound. You got the iconic kind of curvature of the bubble around the outside, which is something that was actually inspired by the design of a milk gallon handle, where you've got that kind of rounded design. But the cool thing about this, and the reason why Nike was able to start doing things like this and get some different shapes with the air units, was a process called blow molding, which was different from how they originally manufactured air units, and this allowed them to just have more flexibility with the shape and the size of the air units. And so this really kind of started that trend that we saw continue with the Air Max 95, and then in big ways continue onto the Air Max 97 that actually featured the first kind of full-length Air Max cushioning. Now, another cool thing about this air unit is that it was the very first to feature color. Of course, the bubble is clear, but we have the columns inside of here featuring different hits of color depending on the colorway, when previously the units were just white. Now, as I mentioned, this is of course an OG colorway. The last time we saw these return was in 2014. I was really happy to see them come again. Now, I have not actually seen a pair of the originals or the 2014 release in person, but from what I can tell based on pictures and videos online, these do look pretty accurate to the originals, and I'm happy to see what Nike did with this release. Now, there are a couple differences here compared to the 2014 model that do get us closer back to that original style. The two notable ones are the fact that the sock liner or collar is separated from the leather overlay panels that was stitched together on the 2014 release. And then the Nike Air branding here at the bottom of the shoe, it featured the correct colors in 2014, but they were actually inverted, so what was teal was white and vice versa, and so they have fixed that here. I don't really see too many deviations from the original. Of course, you can always gripe about things like the overall shape of the shoe, the size of the air unit, but I'm pretty happy with how these turned out. The only thing I would say, and this might just be something that's hard to tell from pictures, but it looks like the originals maybe had a bit more of a blue to them in terms of the accent color, where this is very much a teal or kind of green look. With all that said, we can dive now into a close-up view and take a look at the colors, materials, and everything going on with this sneaker. Getting into the shoe, this model was designed by Tinker Hatfield, and it's got a fairly simple upper, although there is some added complexity thanks to a wide variety of materials used. You've got a black nubuck kind of down here forming a mudguard along the bottom of the upper. There's a lot of synthetic leather and white. You've got that wrapping around as some protection here at the edge of the toe box, as well as forming the main structure of the shoe along the side with the eyelets right there, and then wrapping around the heel. Here in this middle section on both the lateral and the medial sides, you've got a bit of a clear plastic netting. You can see my finger behind there. And then on top of that, you've got your swoosh in sport turquoise. This is like a TPU material. More of that here at the heel with Nike Air branding. Looking at the toe box, you've got a really tightly knitted mesh material, and then that transitions to a much looser mesh. It's also a little bit stretchier. You've got a booty fit here, and so it's actually this mesh that you have behind these this kind of caging material along the sides that wraps your foot. You've got flat white laces, and then at the top, the collar is actually a stretchy black neoprene. Now, Tinker Hatfield also designed the original Nike Air Huarache, and so he was taking some of the dynamic fit principles from that shoe and applying it here to get something where you can slip your foot in and have good containment. You've got Air Max branding at the top of the tongue in teal and white. Looking inside of the shoe, the insole is teal, and then you've got Nike International branding right there. Looking at the midsole now, you've got white Phylon throughout. Here at the heel, of course, is that large 270-degree air unit. You can see the teal columns through there. These also feature an encapsulated air unit under the forefoot. Flipping to the outsole now, you've got an all black, fairly aggressive tread pattern right through there. And then you've got that Air Nike graphic, which just looks so cool. I love that retro throwback. And again, on the 2014 release, for whatever reason, they basically had the colors inverted. So what's white was turquoise and vice versa, but this is how the originals looked. So that's cool to see. With all that said, that's going to wrap up the review for the return of the Air Max 93 in the OG Menthol or Dusty Cactus colorway. If you haven't already, let me know what you think about these down below. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching and have a great day.